Hello, we are here at Anime Japan. It is day one of this convention. It is a 2-day con here in Tokyo. We are currently in front of the convention center, which is Tokyo Big Sight. Anime Japan is one of the major anime cons that occur here in the Tokyo area, the other being Jump Festa, which happens in December. This convention in particular does occur around late March, which is perfect for cherry blossom season if you want to catch that as well. I have been to this convention before about 2 years ago, but at the time I did go pretty last minute. I think I bought tickets the day before. However, this time I did want to plan ahead, especially since there are lottery submissions to get into the voice actor panels, which I will discuss in a little bit. But if you do want to learn more about how Tokyo conducts their anime conventions, feel free to keep on watching. From my experience visiting this con back in 2023, I would say that it's pretty similar to Anime Expo, but without the artist alley and vendors in Exhibitor Hall, and the industry booths are a bit more extravagant at this convention. Now that it's after the panel, I'm just gonna have to do this walking around, so don't mind me. I actually don't like this angle, but I can't really do anything about it. There's too many people. I will say this feels a little bit more busy and chaotic than what I remember a few years ago, because look how insane this is. Because after this is still one main hall. And then look at all of that. Look at all of those activations. Like, this is honestly insane. Because from my understanding, this is a typical anime convention, but it's an anime consumer convention. Basically, their purpose is to share whatever news is going on with upcoming anime. Like, this just reminds me of the Crunchyroll booth at Anime Expo, but just even more on steroids. Wait, they have the Gear 5 Luffy. Oh gosh, it's very packed. It is so easy to get smushed, I will say, so you have to be careful. It's very crowded. But imagine, when I'm comparing this to Anime Expo, which is the other largest anime con that I'm familiar with, this is insane. Like, look at these booths. Like, we're coming up towards the Egghead booth, and then Gear 5 Luffy's just up there. He's just floating. But it's like, look at this. I don't think these booths would be doing this for Anime Expo, if anything. And it's like, that's the same for all of the other booths surrounding me. They're going 100% with the booths that they have. They know their target audience, and it's just Gojo, honestly. I will say, although I'm here to research what the upcoming anime is all about, or what seems to be the trends here in Japan, I'll also say that even the Japanese pop culture is worth noting here. Oh my god, why does it keep moving? Even just observing how I would say like collectible pop culture here is worth noting, because seeing how the Ita bags are here, because it is a tad bit different. I know in the States we like to just collect whatever pens we want, and maybe there's a theme, maybe if not. But here, a lot of people tend to dedicate their Ita bags to one particular character, not necessarily an anime. And usually they just like to collect many of a certain anime. For example, that's like one example of how their Ita bag looks. Yeah, these are crazy. Like, look at these booths. There's so many extravagant booths. It's kind of insane. They don't really have an artist alley here. I think that's the main difference, is that for this particular convention, there's no artist alley. It's just exhibitors. This is the Bandai booth, Bandai Namco. So if you're interested in attending one of said panels where you can meet the Japanese voice actors for a lot of these anime, usually you have to purchase it by this period of time. And basically, you have a couple days. They'll email you when you can start entering your name in the lottery, and you do have to pay. It's really not that expensive in my opinion, so I don't mind paying even if I might not get the chance to attend that panel. I really wanted to get into the One Piece and the Jujutsu Kaisen panel. Unfortunately, I did not get in, so I'm kind of sad. But at least I did get into the Blue Lock panel. I have seen the voice actor for Isagi when he did a panel for Anime New York. I think this was 2 years ago, so it was like 2023. But I still enjoyed it. I did enjoy Blue Lock. I haven't watched the most recent season because I heard that it looks like a PowerPoint. Honestly, at this point, now that I've I visited the panel, I'm just walking around, but I don't know. It's very overstimulating. And usually, even throughout these booths, it does help to walk around and see what panels they might have, because sometimes if you're lucky you might even see your favorite voice actor and you don't even know. Because my biggest regret 2 years ago, I'm so upset with myself. I have a couple major regrets. This is one of them. There was a Disney Plus booth And had I just waited another hour, because I wanted to leave early, I was kind of tired at that point. I think this was like later into the evening. Had I just waited maybe 20, 30 minutes and I stayed at the Disney Plus booth, which I walk past very often, I would have seen that Nanami Kento's voice actor was at the Disney Plus booth. You know, I can't do anything about it, but that's okay. Now I know I need to stay the whole time because you never know. Honestly, if you don't even get into the panels that you wanted to get in through lottery, like I said, if you just walk around the booths, you might even see them because you never know. Also say the different culture here within the voice actors or just anyone on stage is that most of the time you are not allowed to take photos or videos. They do have staff walking around with signs that say no photos, no videos. Apparently that is just the typical culture here. Not that I know that there's a law prohibiting photos or videos in public settings, but preferably they do not like to show faces. And it's the same case with these panels. Typically, I feel like they're a bit more private here than, let's say, the US. As you can see, Netflix also has a pretty good booth. It's really extravagant. Oh, I think this is the Aniplex booth. Oh, I remember. Oh my gosh. Wait, research. Hello, welcome to, wow, this gimbal is not working. Welcome to day 2 of Anime Japan. Honestly, just gonna take it relatively easy today because I don't want to overstimulate myself again and get too tired. Anyway, it took about an hour to enter this convention only because I went through the general entrance. Yesterday, I was basically saved from doing that because I did have a panel at 10:15, and after that panel, you're basically able to enter the con venue so you don't have to deal with that entire line again. So I do highly recommend bringing an umbrella with you, especially if you're sensitive to the heat or the sun, because you are basically lining up under the sun for a good hour depending on when you get here. I finally understood what time the con starts because I didn't know. I thought it was like 10 to 6 like a regular US con. It is not 10 to 6, if anything. It's much different. So they do have merch here, similar to a lot of anime conventions, but it's official licensed merch. And then over here is the Toho booth. Very impressive. Oh, because they're promoting the new Chainsaw Man movie that's gonna come out. Also, I did find where they had the Turbo Granny bag because that's what I really wanted besides the One Piece bag. I'm hoping I'm able to carry it in my suitcase because otherwise I will probably have to fold it. But this is my view so far. There's quite a lot of people, kind of similar to yesterday. Very busy. It doesn't seem as hectic compared to yesterday. I'm assuming most people tend to go to just one of the days, and maybe today they want to take the day off and they're not here. But if you are considering attending Anime Japan, I highly recommend it. It's honestly really fun seeing how different it is compared to a lot of the US anime conventions. Also, I don't remember if I mentioned this, but with this type of event, this is mostly a consumer anime convention, so don't expect there to be artist alley. If anything, the only vendors here sell licensed goods, so a lot of it are also just studios selling merch. I will say it is overstimulating, so make sure if you attend this type of convention, do take care of yourself, drink lots of water, make sure you get lots of rest, have some snacks, because they do allow food in this venue. It's also more affordable compared to a lot of anime cons that I'm used to. Per day, it's $20. I do not think that I needed to be here for 2 days. I only chose to go 2 days because I didn't get to go for 2 days last time. There were a few panels that I wanted to try to get in on Sunday. However, I didn't get in, so technically I don't even need to be here. But I wanted to try to see what else is here just in case I might have missed it yesterday. But hopefully you've been enjoying this video. I would like to do more of these. I know this isn't necessarily Artist Alley related, but it is still adjacent to the anime con scene and whatever the upcoming trends might be within the Artist Alley / Anime Con setting. This is all research, I will say. I know I joke around like, oh, research, you can write it off on taxes, but it is true. I'm learning a lot while attending this con, and I got a lot of ideas on potential merch for Mualcaina, so very useful information. Crossing over to the other side of this building, because there are two hallways, or there's two major hallways. Let's go look at the map, actually. This might be a little bit easier. This is the hallway. Usually there's a good amount of seats. However, as it gets later on into the day, it's really difficult to find a resting spot or seating areas. In this convention, I've honestly just been going to the Domo Park and then finding seats there, because I don't think anyone knows that you can sit there. But we're entering the other hallway. I don't really see a major difference. I didn't get to properly read the map, but there's a lot of other industry booths here as well. And I think both of them have the major studios anyway, so there isn't one that's the main one over the other. But I'm looking for the booth that has the mascots, because I think there's one that has Chopper. So one good thing, actually, now that I'm walking around about the Sunday event, is that some of the vendor booths seem to have sales. So I ended up getting a few towels. To be fair, I did consider getting these towels because I thought they were super cute, but I thought against it, or I just wanted to have some time to think about them before I purchased them, and then realized, wait, they're having a sale. So it was basically 330 yen for 3 towels of your choice within like this bin. And luckily the bin had 3 towels that I really like. And 330 yen I think is like $2? So basically for $2 you get 3 towels. Oh yeah, this is the Domo Park that I was talking about, that you can sit down, and there's a few benches, so I think I'm gonna... Actually no, I think I have the energy to keep going, so I might just walk around, but I'll come back later if I need a rest. As I was saying, the booths are very, very extravagant, and you can tell they put in a lot in their budget for these exhibitor booths. I'll also say that if you do like the more niche anime, and I say niche in the context of the Western anime trends, like obviously with Western anime, Dun 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 is really in basically any Shonen Jump, but here I feel like they really cater to a lot of the anime that may not be as popular in the West. I can't even name some of them because I'm not familiar with them, nor have I seen them ever, but then I see their merch a lot at the booths or at anime. I like that this one is a carnival theme. I am not familiar with any of the anime that's there, but very cool. Like, as you can see, there's lights up top, and it's like a carnival. I would say it's more of a circus rather than a carnival, but maybe I'm just... I don't know. Oh wow, this is so cool. I didn't even see this part. This is like the back of... There's a lot of photo spots. I will say, even for this convention, there's a lot of photo opportunities to take photos compared to the cons that I'm used to. Also, luckily, I did make it in time for the mascot photos. Oh my gosh, because I was looking for that booth to see Chopper, because I saw the scheduling yesterday, and it was kind of sad because I thought that I missed Chopper, but I'd realized like, oh, they have it for each day. So luckily I made it, and I found the booth in time. But that will be everything for this video. I also create content on artist alleys, anime conventions, and everything in between, especially when running a small business as an artist. So if you're interested in that content, feel free to subscribe to my channel. You can hit the subscribe button down over here. If you want to watch my experience vending at the largest anime convention in the United States, watch this video to see my experience at Anime Expo, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!